students, enjoy some everyday use vocabs and context. For English definitions, check the description below. Not for others. Enjoy, that's all.
Vocabulary words, idioms, expressions are in the very essence of the process of learning a new language. I once stumbled upon a quote that says,
"The knowledge of a word not only implies a definition, but also implies how that word fits in the world."
That quote highlights how important for us teachers to not only teach the word, but rather teach how to use it. In this video, I'm gonna share some fun, easy, effective ways I used to teach or revise vocabulary words with my students. All of the following activities have been tried in my classes, and I'll provide you with the procedures, durations, and some outcomes as well. We'll share with you guys my own samples, so stay tuned. I just want to note that the number of students I do those activities with range from 10 up to 20. I guess classes with larger numbers will need more time. First activity. If your vocabulary lesson is about something like grocery shopping, pieces of clothes, types of plants, visual vocabulary would fit the best. Pictures are essential when it comes to engaging students. Matching words with pictures is a very common activity to do here, and I have modified it a little bit. And by modified it, I mean I made it a little bit more challenging. What to do is, instead of doing this activity after explaining the words, try doing it before. The idea is, if the students are asked to analyze and react personally to new information, it'll help them process the language more deeply. Add an extra picture or word, so students will double their attention since they have to exclude one card out. Sit the students in groups of 3 or 4 depending on the class size. Give clear instructions, give each group a set of cards, and let the game begin. When it's over, make sure to read the words out loud and let each student pick their favorite word and ask them to put it in a sentence. It usually takes from 4 to 7 minutes. Another variety is to hand each group a large photo and ask the students to match the words with the items in the photo. I like to create the cards myself, so I use Uncle Word, but sometimes I get lazy and I use Uncle Google. You know what I mean. Second activity. Context-based approach. It's an effective approach for teaching students to use context to infer word meanings, especially with expressions and idioms. Students use context clues, words, phrases, and sentences surrounding the word that can give hints or clues to its meaning to figure out the meaning of the expression. Words inferred through this activity would last in their memory way longer than if they were spoon-fed. Procedure. Put the words in sentences, funny if possible, and let the students try to guess the meaning of the underlined expression. You can provide choices if necessary. Time of this activity depends mainly on the number of expressions you intend to teach. If we're talking 10 expressions, then 5 to 8 minutes would be it. Here is my own sample of this activity. Where I teach, there's a projector in the class, so I take advantage of that and apply my lesson in advance via PowerPoint. The result is that they stay engaged for longer, and whereas engagement, there is a memorable learning process. Third activity, the blind seed. This activity is actually my personal favorite because it triggers other language skills as well. Procedure. Divide the class into teams. One student sits giving his back or her back to the board. The rest of the team has to explain the meaning of the word in a 15 to 20 second time without saying the word itself. Make sure that students can't use their native language and have to convey the meaning using English only. By doing so, students will only be adding a new vocabulary words into their pockets, but also practice the skill of speaking as well as active listening. I mean, yeah, those skills were kind of acquired under stress, but trust me, it's worth it. Fourth activity, story time circle. Procedure. Sit the students in a big circle. Write all new words or expressions on the board without definitions. Read them once or twice out loud. Start the activity by telling the students,
"Well, dear students, today you're no longer students. You're storytellers."
Trust me, students will get excited having a new title and will get really motivated to do this activity. Start with the student who always gives you a hard time. And nah, just kidding. Start with one of the students and ask him or her to choose any of the word written on the board. After choosing the word, explain it to them, indicating which part of the speech it is. Now let the fun begin. Ask the student to begin the story with a sentence including this word. The other student chooses another word and carries on with the story with another sentence. The third will do the same, and so on and so forth, until all of the words are being chosen, explained, and used. I personally prefer to do this activity when there is a revision. By doing so, I save time and counteract the effects of students forgetting the words. P.S. Remind the students that the story should maintain its coherence. So for example, if the first student starts with "there was a grumpy man," the second student can't produce a sentence like "the girl is speeding." Nah, won't work. This is a great practice of sentence structure, imagination, making sense, and creativity. Usually words that are used in this way would be hard to be forgotten. And this is basically every teacher's dream, you know, getting in the class and be like, who remembers the meaning of a grumpy? And boom, entire class raising hands. In my sample here, as you may already guessed it, the unit was about food, and I gathered all of the vocabulary words in that unit and used this activity for revision. Last activity. Okay, this last one might. So this is what you gotta do. Write all new words with no definitions, no information, no clues at all. Fold the papers and ask each student to pick a paper. Tell them you're not going to explain the meaning, yet they have to use their, I don't know, imagination to make a sentence using the word. Give them like a couple of minutes. After that, give the students a paper with the list of the words and definitions and ask them to read their sentences and rewrite them, paying attention to their meanings this time. This is the funniest way to let the students learn from their mistakes. You'll have like a lot of fun. Students will laugh, and so will you. And it'll be the happy laughing lesson. I mean, you'll hear sentences like, "My favorite hobby is flood." Didn't sound funny now, but it was funny when it was said in the class. Thanks for watching. I hope you fellow teachers found these activities helpful and got inspired in a way or another. And always remember, you're the boss of your class. You can adjust those activities to what suits your lessons and student needs. We're all set for now.